We didn't come up with a name.
What was it? We did come up with something ridiculous. I forgot what it was though.
I
Did
forgot what
we?
it, I
You
don't
should
remember
just
what
call
we
it
did.
Maybe I'm
tribal
wrong.
council.
Wait, what did you say, Ryan?
You should just call it tribal council.
But it's like the post-tribal council.
Yeah, yeah.
True.
It's the production council. No.
What if we do like the Northern Lights Rewind?
Ooh.
I
Ooh,
like that. I like that.
Okay.
Lene.
Okay.
I
I
have good
see
ideas
you.
sometimes.
So last time we left off, Lily had just gone home, unfortunately, and we've had a couple more people go home now. I think we've had like 4 people go home since Lily. Yeah, 3. So we have a lot to get through. I think we should talk about um can we just talk about Lily's tribe first? Because they haven't really done much. They haven't gone to tribal, so we can just kind of get them out of the way.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So are we done with them then? We just move on.
No, like we can talk
No,
about them.
there's a lot going on there.
We're just not gonna like, talk about them forever, so we should just get them out of the way first. How do we feel Brooke is doing? We were very high on Brooke last time. How do we feel about them now?
I still really like Brooke. I think that Brooke and Steve are getting a lot closer. They're
Yeah,
in
I mean,
DC all day, every day.
yeah. I was about to say that I'm like obsessed with Brooke and Steve. They're so funny, and I feel like they've got a really good like handle on their tribe. But also, it's funny watching Brooke kind of like lose her sanity about how non-active the rest of her tribe is because she's like putting herself in this like mental state of constant worrying when there's just literally nothing going on. She has nothing to actually worry about.
Styles, can you maybe give us just an overall catch up before we start breaking down like everyone's game individually?
Yeah. So on Ignis tribe, I know that Steve and Brooke spent a lot of time together, and I think Steve trusts Brooke, but Brooke has like been really frustrated with Steve. She like feels anxious. This is how she describes it, and that she feels like anxious with Steve, and like he makes her like feel that kind of way because he's like a really like snappy, like fiery personality. You know what I mean? He's gonna say what he thinks when he wants to say it. So like she's been talking about getting him out of the game, which would be a very interesting dynamic because, as we know, Steve has an idol, so that might not be as easy as she thinks. But she has. I think it's going to happen though? But she has spoken about making possibly a big move, and this triple council before swap might be her opportunity. So we'll see.
Cool.
What about Steve? I feel like he's just kind of all over the place.
He's all over the place, but he's also kind of like laying low, oddly. Like it's this weird like dynamic. Like I feel like Brooke and Steve go into this like their tribe chat, like their voice chat every day, and nobody ever questions why they're in there for hours. Nobody goes in there and checks on them to see what they're talking about. And I'm just like, what is like if that was me, and I said this to one of them earlier, I said if I was playing this game, I'd be DMing everybody. Like, why are they always together? What are they talking about? Somebody go spy on them, and nobody ever does. It's so weird to me.
I wonder if that's like part of their strategy where like if you just do all your planning just so point blank and in front of everyone, no one's gonna be suspicious because they're like, there's no way they would talk strategy and like behind all of our backs where we can just hop in whenever we want. But I don't know if that's their actual plan, but maybe that's their strategy.
From what I know, there's actually really not a lot of game. Like everyone has thoughts on that tribe and like opinions, but no one's like really voiced it. So like a bunch of people are looking at Steve. You have Vince and Brooke who got in like a little argument a couple days ago about I think how the challenge order was chosen or something like that. And Vince like was like, no, like so Brooke made a randomizer to decide like the order of it. And Vince did not like that at all because he's like, I didn't get the vote or I didn't get a say. And so Brooke didn't like that he gave an attitude. So you have Vince and Brooke who don't trust each other, but then are also looking at Steve as a target. And they both don't know it. It's like really cool, interesting dynamic that I'm watching happen. And then there's Ryan who does nothing and is probably the likely boot tomorrow night, but not you, Ryan. No, not you.
Thanks for Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah, I think Ryan's making it very easy for tomorrow's triple to really They don't really have to make it. I mean, maybe it'll be in their best interest to keep him because he's so inactive, especially if they're worried about going into a merge or anything. Maybe like, oh, just an easy person to keep on our side because he'll just do whatever we say whenever he shows up.
That's a good point. I had such high hopes for Ryan.
Whew. Yeah, he was begging me to play. I think if he could just slip by, like if he escapes tomorrow, he might go really far because like who's gonna want to get rid of that guy? It's like he's seen as a number, but the thing is like I've actually played a game with him before, and he's like mad cut. He's like inactive and doesn't talk a lot, but he will stab everyone in the back. So like they have the wrong judgment on him. Could be if they keep him around, he will be like the demise to a lot of these people, I think. But I don't think they're keeping him around because he doesn't do shit. He doesn't help with the challenges or nothing. So he's
Nope.
probably see you later, 86th. That's what I'm thinking at least.
How do we feel about James? James now has a. Hold on, I had look at my thing. He has both an immunity idol and a reveal advantage, so he's kind of stacking up these powers.
I don't think anybody's looking at James. Nobody ever says James. Ever.
He's like the backup option every tribal, but now it's like he's nothing. Like everyone, like it's like, man, I really had a good talk with Brooke. Had a good talk with James. Steve trusts James. I feel like they can use James. James is like maybe in the best position in the tribe. It's kind of crazy because he's got an idol and he's got all these people that want to work with him. And if someone wants to make a move, like he's gonna be right in the middle of it, you know. And if he wants it to happen, it'll happen. And if he wants to like snitch on the plan, then he can do that. Like and he hasn't really actively done anything crazy. He's just kind of laid low and been nice, and they're like, "Yo, we gotta work together now." And now he's like kind of turning it up a little bit. So I'm impressed, very much so. By him.
Nobody even like considers that James has an idol. Like it's not a thought for anybody in the game.
Yeah.
Like the other trabs have like speculated who got that puzzle one, and not a single person has said James ever. It's crazy.
To me, I see James as like the definition of silent but deadly. Like he's just gonna make his moves and no one's gonna see it coming. And then I can see him sitting at the end, just like listing off all the things he's done and the thing and like the idols and the powers that he's probably gonna get, and just everyone's gonna be jaw dropped. They're gonna be like, James? James?
He's a
And I
beast,
mean,
Joe.
yeah, I'm impressed. I like that kind of gameplay because I don't have that type of restraint, but when people do, it takes you far.
Yeah, he's confident, chilling, but he has a right to be because everything that he's kind of like been wanting to happen is like kind of coming together for him. It's cool. It's actually an interesting little thing that's happening because he was like on the outs and now he's like the most powerful guy in my opinion on the whole tribe.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about Floyd's position right now?
Floyd's position's tough because I feel like he has so much game to play, but there's so much going on with him personally that I feel like I don't want his like I hope that it doesn't affect his gameplay. So I feel kind of bad, but I'm also just like rooting for him at the same time because I feel like I know what he's capable of, and I just hope his tribe sees that before they're just kind of like
them winning
gives him
everything
the-
is kind of great for Floyd at this point, where like he can't be super active, but he doesn't need to be either because they're not going to tribal.
Yeah,
He's active enough.
Especially in that last comp where he made it abundantly clear to them, like, I'm here, I just can't be on VC, but I'm still going to do the comp. And they were still like, you know, I'm glad that you showed up, or we're going to skip your ass. Like, let's be real. We're not doing this, but we're glad that you're here. We don't hold it against you, but we're just going to skip on by you and continue.
Yeah.
And he's a music guy, so I was like, I wonder, like, they ended up getting the most points, I believe. So I was like, honestly, like, I wonder how much even more they would have got with Floyd's help, because that was like a competition made for him.
Literally, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Did he help with it really or no?
I think a little bit.
Yeah.
I was too busy drunk in the production chat to pay attention last night. That was the problem. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Me and Lene and Ryan, I think, Caitlin, we were rapping the songs and not even paying attention to what they're even really talking about.
Speaking of which, Styles, I hope
boy.
you paid that girl.
Oh, she told you? Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We heard Snake.
Yeah.
You're not even in the game and you're playing us.
As soon as she
No,
left
great.
that BC, she said, Styles paid me to get you to sing. And I'm like, that bitch.
I did it. She's in an all-star game, and I got her to like make her entire cast sing. I was like, I'll give you $5 if you make it happen. Because I'm bored and I want to see something funny happen. So I joined her VC, and everyone just starts singing Hallelujah in there. And I was like, okay.
My child literally cried tears, was wiping away tears and couldn't breathe. He kept like because he couldn't breathe because I hit some stupid high pitched note.
You killed it though. You were out there slaying. Do you want to try it again here on the podcast?
Yeah. We'd love to hear it again.
No, I don't think anybody could pay me enough money to let that happen again.
We should get the tribes to sing.
Yeah, that's the next challenge. They perform their song.
Yeah. And we're the judges. Fuck that,
So on Ignis, do you guys think there's any alliances that are going to last far into the game, or do you think that at a swap they all kind of go different directions?
I think Brooke and
think-
Steve.
Yeah, I don't know.
Brooke
It's
and
kind of
Floyd.
tough because once you separate these guys from where they're at right now, there's so many more connections that are already put in place. Like a lot of these people know each other, so it's like even though they can't talk now, you put them in a tribe swap, I think all the dynamics completely change because people are going to gravitate more to people they don't know, or I don't know. I see some of these crumbling a little bit.
Yeah.
I think Floyd and Brooke are really the only thing that I could say it's like super solid. You know what I mean?
Well,
Unless-
and this tribe hasn't gone to tribal enough where I think that those bonds really are tested.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Terra tribe, I think has a very strong 4-person alliance because they've had to keep putting their trust in each other and like seeing the results from that.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. When you don't have to test each other's loyalty, it's easy to stay loyal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And the longer they don't go, the more they don't trust each other. Like it's kind of it's like the opposite effect. It's like, man, if we go to tribal, I don't know. Like everyone's looking at Steve, and then you have Vince, who's like some people are looking at. So like there should be a tight four on there of Vince, Steve, Floyd, and Brooke. They have that alliance, but like they all kind of are starting to not trust each other. So we'll see. You know, I don't even think Brooke and Floyd will be like the people that stay together. I think Steve is amenable to do whatever he wants. Really, he's very fluid in the game.
Who do you think
least-
has the opportunity to slay a swap the most? Like, who do you think could put themselves in a great position in any swap that they get put into?
Steve.
Yeah, Steve. I think Bear could really turn her game around if she makes it to that merge because she's just gonna expose Terra completely, and it's just gonna be everyone against Terra. I think.
You're talking about generally, not just Ignis, and Bear is definitely up there. I think that Leah is up there. Like if she somehow slithers through tomorrow night, we'll get to that. But like once she gets out of that tribe, people are gonna need her vote. You know, so we'll see.
Mhm.
Last
Yeah.
Ignis question: do we all think
Oh.
Ryan is going home tomorrow night? If we had to guess,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing. If he knew what he was doing, then I'd be like, man, maybe he could like kind of. Because if he says the right things to like Brooke or Vince or whatever, they could try to make a move on Steve. But again, Steve has an idol, so I
I
don't.
don't know. I feel like Brooke's gonna see like the potential in having someone who rarely shows up and just be blindly loyal to them as something that she can use, and I think she's gonna twist it. I think that they might send someone like I honestly think she might make a move at Vince because I think she's been getting quite upset at Vince's change of personality whenever they're like in between immunity challenges or when they are at risk. She gets that really gets in her head, so I think that she might make a move on Vince tomorrow. I think if she has the chance.
I think Steve Steve, Vince, and Ryan would be like my top three. I think Floyd, Brooke, and James are like probably pretty much safe, unless they try to make a move and it gets blown up in their face. Then it could be a problem.
Which would be fun.
Of course, that's what we want to happen. We need the messiness. We need that because it's been a little bit of besides the Isaiah vote, it's been like a little dull. Like no one's really done anything crazy. It's just been kind of like the status quo every single tribal so far.
switching over to Ventus, Styles, can you just give us a little overview of everything we've missed since like the princess vote and all of that?
Alrighty, so some dynamics definitely have changed. So like before we were talking about Kyle's kind of like running the show and he's like at the top position, but he's going to end up being a threat. Some people are starting to look at Kyle as a little bit messy and everywhere. And he was really paranoid at the last tribal council that like Rachel, for example, was turned off by. So Rachel still trusts Kyle, but now Rachel has like, Faya as her number one. You have Liv and Jimmy that have now came together. And I don't remember if Liv had Jimmy as her number one, but Jimmy had Liv as his, whereas it was formerly Kyle. Leah is interesting because I think that Faya will go home tomorrow night. But Leah's reads on Kyle and her trusts and these people are completely like misguided. It's really, really bad. I actually feel bad for her kind of because they're all like, oh, Leah this, Leah that. And like Leah actually has been mad loyal to her people so far. But she's in a really, really tough spot because they're gonna go to tribal tomorrow and she is in a lot of trouble. People see her as a huge threat because like connections and stuff. So that's like the overall view of it. So
Well,
far.
and you were worried about Leah before the Princess Tribal. You were like, she could be the one that goes home. Princess went home, and I think it was almost unanimous.
It was.
It was
There
unanimous, yeah.
There was one on Leah from I think Rachel. It was, and Princess self-voted because they didn't show up.
Yeah. So
yeah, the self.
yeah. So Princess goes home. How does that? Do you think that helped Leah, and do you think she kind of squandered that little bit of like push that could have given her? Or do you think that was like a number she lost, and now that's put her in a worse position?
I think that Leah is in a rough position because when I was watching some of the confessionals and reading some of the one-on-ones, I think Faya was originally very close with Leah and wanted to work with her, and now he kind of controlled, or at least he made it seem like he controlled the princess vote fully. So if he gets his way again, I'm kind of worried that Leah might be the next boot if that's who's really controlling that tribe.
People are starting to look at him. So he's like planting seeds about Leah, and everyone had perceived him and Leah as super close. So, for example, Jimmy today and I keep fucking his name up, Faya. Sorry, because it's like I would jumble it around. But they came together, Jimmy and Faya. Sorry, and Faya threw Leah's name out there, and Jimmy was like shocked. He's like, I thought they were super close. It's kind of shady to me that he's doing that. So now he's actually kind of made himself a target with Jimmy, who I actually think is, relatively influential in the tribe. Nothing crazy, but he has like good influence with Liv and Kyle and stuff. So I think one of those two will go. I think Princess going was so bad. Like Leah from day one has like had to just flip the script. Like, and it's just getting worse and worse every single day. But she doesn't know. Once she finds out, if she finds out, there's that opportunity. But she just has no clue. Like they're all working just right underneath her, and she feels like everything's kumbaya. But the exact opposite. She's in probably the worst position in the whole game. She's like already this big threat and everything. Like, I worry about her win equity for sure. It's gonna be tough for her to like pull it off because everyone just sees her as a threat.
I want to talk about Liv because I feel like she's one of the best kind of comebacks since the last time we recorded. She wasn't in the worst spot. She wasn't in a great spot last week. Now I feel like she's in a good spot for sure. What did she do specifically that got her there?
I think she was just more active.
Yeah, she started talking.
She's likable too. She's very like kind of charming and easy to talk to, and like she's like a chaotic like kind of energy that people are like kind of drawn to. A lot of people really like Liv. She's playing hella good. Leah's looking at her, but I don't think that really matters. Leah doesn't really have a lot of agency with that. But outside of that, she's connected very well. And then also, quick update: Brooke and Floyd are talking about getting rid of Steve right now in their one-on-ones.
Ooh. The inside scoop, Justin.
Yeah, I just saw it pop on my phone in the corner of my eye, and I was like, I gotta read this.
Do you have your notifications on for every single one-on-one, Styles?
Yes. And my camera's like mad blurry. What the fuck? But yes, I do. I didn't have it on, but I do want it on now because when I work, I'd rather just be able to pull my phone up, see what happened recently, and just put it back away.
Okay.
And not have to like go read it and all that. So yeah.
Yeah. Also, Rachel is in a great spot, and she was she wasn't at the bottom before, but she was just kind of like coming back from the first vote. But she's now, I think, in a good spot on this tribe.
I guess she's in a great position in this tribe. She shouldn't be because she's like mad dangerous, and they should have got rid of her the first time.
She should have.
She should have been gone, but yeah, she's killing it, and she like kind of is on to Kyle's game, and that's really good for her that she's like not putting over trust in Kyle because Kyle is just like a complete wild card, and like every day something changes with him. Go ahead.
Can we just talk about the idol the other day? Him and Rachel, and he like tells her where to get the first clue or whatever, and he's like playing it off like he just found it, and she was like in her confessional like, "This is fucking bullshit. I'm not stupid. He thinks he's playing me."
That was hilarious. And that's where I was like, all right, like Rachel is low key like an absolute. Rachel is a problem for every single person.
Rachel, yeah. I mean, I did not know Rachel coming into this, but seeing how observant she is and how able she's like to restrain herself and just make the person who's telling her these lies feel like they're getting away with it, but she knows 100%, scares me because I'm just like, if I ever go against Rachel, I'm just gonna be like, I can't tell you nothing that's a lie because you're gonna know it.
The one time I played with her, I couldn't get her out till final freaking 3, and I wanted her out from like final 8, and I was like, yo, we gotta get Rachel out. It was an anonymous game, I didn't know who she was, but she like just kept escaping, and like she's so damn good, and I think she has a great chance to win for sure. I think she's probably the best player on the tribe right now.
Rachel's definitely up there in my winner picks right now.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's because her threat level is really low, I feel too. So I agree with you.
I just love to listen to Kyle sing in their one-on-ones.
Yeah, he does. He's been doing that everywhere. Yeah, hell yeah. Kyle's out here getting
American
down and
Idol.
Serenading.
Fully support too. She's like, yes, bitch, get it. And I was like, oh my God.
I wonder if that's is that intentional strategy from Kyle? I think he might have like said like something that he's like trying to like come off as like innocent, and he like does like little goofy things like that, which I think is awesome because I think like you could always work on your threat level, so it could work for him.
But we all think Kyle's in a worse spot now than he was last week, right?
1000%, yeah. Last week, I think everybody was very like kumbaya with him. Like, it's cool. I like Kyle. And now everybody's like, eyeballs are like pointed straight at him. And they're all starting to see, I think they're all starting to talk to each other about Kyle too. So it'll be interesting come tribe swap. I think that he could be a really big like target once people start talking a little bit more.
Yeah, especially since we're gonna have bigger tribes. It would be easy for them to just point at him and say, well, can we all just agree on Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah, and those big personalities, they stand out. Like when you're in a group of people and you don't know where to point your finger, you just point your finger to the loudest person in the room, and I'm sure more than half of them will agree with you just to say something.
Yeah. I think Kyle is like naturally one of the best players, but he just like he'll play like at 110% at all times, whereas like 70% would be like perfect. You know what I mean? He would be like really, crushing it. But I think actually he's like a good bet to get to the merge because he's really good at challenges and he's just so active. So they'll be like, maybe we should just get rid of someone that doesn't talk to me as much. And then later on, he'll become a threat, I think. That's my prediction for him.
Well, I guess him and Faya are kind of in the same boat where people are starting to like catch on to their little antics. And it's kind of just like, which one will people want out?
I don't know. I think Kyle almost has a little bit more pull right now to stay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think he has way more like he's had more communication with everybody, and I think a lot of that is like the time difference. So it's like Kyle never shuts off. He's here 24/7. Faya, on the other hand, is like, it's like hit or miss, and like they have the good conversations with people, but they don't have the good conversations with everybody.
Yeah. I think Kyle also works on his threat level quite a bit too, which I think is really important in the game. He's always just saying some goofy stuff or like acting like the sweet, innocent little, lack of a better word, like virgin kid from high school. He's not actually, I don't really know what his deal is, but that's what he's like, the character he's playing. You know what I mean? That's what he's doing. He's like, I don't know what I'm doing with girls on the VC with Liv last night. Liv's like annoyed by him, but Liv's like not threatened by him because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So do we think that Faya could be going home at this next tribal potentially?
I think it's definitely up there on the list, and I think it's because even if they haven't played with Faya before, I think some people were talking about how he has played in other games, which I think is unfortunate because you can be such a good player, but people will know you from seeing you somewhere else, and then people are scared of that. So I think that if they do all come to just like realize how sneaky and behind the scenes he is, and like how he's willing to even turn on someone who is considering so close like Leah, I think it could easily flip to him in a heartbeat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we haven't really talked a ton about Jimmy. How do we feel about Jimmy?
I think Jimmy's in a good spot right now. I don't think Jimmy thinks Jimmy's in a good spot right now, but I think he's fine. He's got that idol, and I think he just overthinks every single thing now because of that idol. Like if he didn't have it, I think he would be like out of his head a little bit, but he like quadruple questions every single sentence that he types. But I think he's fine. I don't think anybody's looking at him.
Yeah, I think he's sitting pretty. I mean, does he also have an idol as well?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's sitting pretty. I mean, I haven't heard his name come up in anyone's conversations.
You didn't remember him getting his idol at 6 a.m.?
No, I
It
don't.
was
I mean, I think I remember, but I was like, I just want to confirm before I like.
it was the first thing I saw that morning. I had my alarm set for 6:10 a.m. My alarm went off. I grabbed my phone at 6:12. I get a notification and he's peeing in production. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. And then he's like, so then I give it to him. And he's like, I'm going to go back to bed now. And I was like, okay.
I think he's a top contender, but I think like he's such a charismatic, like wherever he goes, he's just like a big personality. I don't know what it is. Some people just have that factor to them. And so I
Mhm.
think people are going to eventually look at him as a target, no matter what he does, just because his personality. You know what I mean? He's also just likable, and I think his worst nightmare is him overthinking stuff and making mistakes or having the wrong conversation because he is
Yeah.
paranoid. I think that's what would be his downfall. And he's also cursed with idols because he always talks about in his chat the last Survivor game he played. He went home with like 2 idols in his pocket, I think. So like that's like he's like scarred from that, and like that's the big
Yeah.
thing with him. He's like, I don't want to go home with it in my pocket again. So he might just blow the thing, and then that's never really a good look, unfortunately, in Survivor.
So, what
Oh my,
relationships or alliances from this tribe do we think could last to the end?
Jimmy and Liv, maybe. They seem to be
yeah.
getting pretty close.
Yeah, I think that can happen. I just think that Liv is like so. I think Liv is like going to be an awesome villain this season and probably willing to do whatever it takes to win because she has like this thing going on where she lies to someone about something in her personal life daily. So that's always like interesting to watch. Like yesterday, she had like a whole thing on. I was on voice call with it, and she's like talking about this guy that she has problems with, but like it's not actually happening. Like she came up with this whole story, and I'm like, damn, that girl is gonna trick some
Gosh.
people. Yeah, you know what I mean? She's gonna be a little badass, but I could just see like if she needs to, she'll probably just cut whoever she needs to. You know, I think that Rachel and Faya, if they stay together, they just have like this bond for some reason. Like they just click very well, and I could see them staying together if Faya makes it through tomorrow. That's the big factor with that. So we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
So now we can talk about the tribe who's like really got this shit going on. They sent home both Isaiah and Jake since we talked last. They literally sent Jake home. Are you doing a shot?
Yes,
Is that
I need
99
it.
bananas?
It sure is.
I know that well. So they just sent Jake home literally like 30 minutes ago. We have a 4-person alliance plus Bear left. Do we think Bear is toast tomorrow, or do we think that they have a shot of splitting this foursome up?
Oh, I think she's screwed, but I'm rooting for her because
She's
I love that underdog. I want her to win that immunity.
I know. I hope she does, and it'll be really interesting when that happens because Peter and Luke were contemplating blindsiding Derek today, and it probably actually makes more sense for them to make that move now than it did today. So I feel like
Yeah,
that could happen.
I think she could stay. If she can talk them into it, that's all she needs.
Does she know that they're a 4 and then she's on the outs?
She's
I think-
aware enough. Yeah, yeah. She's probably learned. But the problem is she's going after the wrong people. Like she even said in her DR today, like she sees that Derek and Sam are in control, but she's not like trying. She's going after Peter and like trying to plant seeds against Peter. Like that hasn't worked twice now. So I hope she picks up on that and like tries something different this time. If she starts throwing Derek's name out and planting seeds, Luke and Peter might jump on that. So I think it comes down to
I
that.
would love for one of them to go. I feel like they are so comfy right now. And from like a production standpoint, I'm like kind of over it and just waiting on everything to just blow up.
I'm
It
like
almost did today.
upset. I'm
Mhm.
upset because I watched like Sam and Derek make everyone else do what they want, throw their names around and tell them everyone's names except their own. And they were like, "Oh, I told them that you're gonna vote that Luke's name is in the air, Peter's name is in the air, Jake's name's in the air, Bear name's in the air," and they just take it at face value and they don't question it. Like, hey, why
Yeah.
is no one throwing around? Hey, let's pretend we're voting Derek or let's pretend we're voting Sam. They just sit there, and I'm like, why don't you guys open your eyes and be like, why don't the 4 of us team up and take out these 2 people who are just telling us what to do? And Sam's such a huge comp threat. Like, what are they doing?
I think
Well,
today
I don't
was
even-
too soon. Go ahead,
Well,
Lida.
yes, today was too soon, but I also feel like when Luke and Peter were talking earlier, they kept saying like, if we're gonna do this, we have to bring in Sam at last minute. And I'm like,
What?
that's the last person you need to bring in. Like, what are you
That's like the
talking
kiss of death. Yeah, that's like the word.
Yeah.
They should have actually, if they were gonna do it, they should have done with Jake, because Bear is just like she could blow the whole
Exactly.
thing up, and Jake would probably just do whatever they wanted. I don't know what the hell
Yeah.
they were thinking with that. When I heard that, I was like, oh boy, Peter or Luke are about to go home tonight. Yeah, like
I know I kept reading it and I was like, it doesn't matter if you go to Sam now or you go to Sam last minute. Like, you can't go to Sam. What is wrong with
yeah,
you?
yeah, and they're talking about like, yeah, right before the votes are read, like she's gonna, like, they don't know this obviously, but I'm like, oh
Yeah.
my god, they're gonna just completely fuck themselves over. You know what I mean? Get
If they
themselves
would
on
have
the edge.
done it. But it also kind of made sense too, because if they would have done that, but just told her they were doing it and voted her instead, she would have used her idol to save Derek.
Genius.
And then they could have left, and that would have been like the best play ever.
That would have been crazy, but then where would have they been if, so they're on a tribe. Let's say they make this move on Derek or Sam. They're on a tribe with the person they just backstabbed on their alliance.
Yeah.
Like, they're obviously like, they're not gonna be happy because they kind of did it for no reason. I know like Derek and Sam are a little bit like suspect, but like they've been loyal to Peter and Luke. And then you're basically handing the power to Jake and Bear if you vote out one of Sam or Derek. So like if you do it now and you make the move now, then you're two people hypothetically, because we know there's gonna be a swap. They don't know that, but they think that's gonna happen. If they make this move tomorrow, it's them two on a 4-person tribe, and they're like, it has to be a fire making challenge at least. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Should Bear have fought harder to keep Jake around, or do you think that was a lost cause?
Heck no, that was done. I think she should have started planting seeds. Like, if she just knew like Luke and Peter are a little bit sussed out by Derek, all she has to do is just put a couple little seeds of doubt and she would be good. But I think it would have been, if she went the really hardcore to try to save Jake, she would have been sent home tonight, I think.
Let's talk about Sam and Derek as the duo. Who's playing better out of the two?
Sam.
I think Sam, but I think Sam is I know Derek is like seen as like strategic, but I think long term Sam is just going to be such a big threat that if she's vulnerable at the merge and she's playing as the way she is, there's no way these people aren't going to come together and like, yo, we got to get Sam out. That's my worry, but I do think she's playing the best right now.
I think of the two, I'd say Derek, because he's letting her take all the heat while he kind of sits back and doesn't really get a whole lot of blood on his hands. Like, she's the person that's kind of like going to all of these people and being like, we're doing this, we're doing this, we're doing this. And Derek said he's in, so he's kind of just letting her take all the heat. And I think that once it comes time to pick one of them, I think that they kind of pick her to go because they have the opportunity.
Yeah, especially when that time comes, I think that Sam is just going to be a huge shield for Derek. So I think he's setting himself up well with that. He's going to be in like a power couple, not like that kind of couple, of course, but they're gonna be a power couple, and they're always just gonna go after Sam. Like, everyone in the game talks about how good Sam is at these challenges. You know, like it's always gonna be Sam. And then once Sam goes, I feel like a lot of people want to work with Derek too. So like, it's either Sam could carry him all the way to the end, or she goes and then he gets picked up by another group. You know, so I think he's in a good spot. But he could go home tomorrow, low key, so he might not be in a good spot. But I think once the swap happens, a lot of things will change.
I can't remember if I made this comparison last time, but Sam reminds me the way that she plays of Andrea from Survivor, because she's so good at challenges, she's so good at strategy, she's so good at being social, but she just can't not make it obvious. Like, people are always going to point it out way before the end of the game. So it's like, how did she get there when everyone is aware of how good she is from like, you know, third or fourth cycle?
It's fair. They've been talking about her since 30 seconons into the game.
It's hard to escape that kind of threat level. You have to do some serious work to like get that target off your back. It's gonna be so hard for a couple of these people. They just can't contain themselves. And like, Sam's playing super hard too. If she laid back, she would have a chance, but she's like running shit. So it's hard to be great at challenges and running shit, because everyone's be like, all right, that part, like, because if she gets to the end the way she's playing the game, like, that girl deserves to win. However many jurors we're having, that to 0. You know what I mean? Because she's out there absolutely running shit. You know, so it's gonna be tough because I don't think they'll let her get there.
I relate to her in that because once you get that feeling of like I'm just gonna like roll over these people and like they're all doing what I'm gonna say, I feel like you just get on this like I don't know what like that snowball effect where it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and you just want to see how many people you can just roll over. Like I just
Yeah.
feel like it just feels good and especially when there's no repercussions, like especially today with like Luke and Peter being like, why not Derek? Like Sam's name wasn't even thrown up. It's
Yeah.
like if she knew that, I just feel like it would just keep going.
Yeah, I think you could tell she's still like playing hard and like thinking of all these ideas and like being the lead. Like she was the reason that Jake went home. Like everyone was like, Bear's two-faced. We want Bear out. Bear's a snake. But Sam put her foot down about Jake. Not really like super aggressive, but she was like, I'm doing Jake, then I'm not doing Bear. Everyone's like, all right, yes. And they kissed the ring and they voted Jake, you know? So that confidence might continue to
Kiss
grow.
the ring.
Who's playing better between Luke and Peter?
Ooh.
Peter, I think.
Yeah, I think Peter really. I think Luke is probably going to be better socially. He's just like a nice guy and he's going to connect with people well. He hasn't played many games. He has like that working for him. But I think Peter really, really understands the strategy on a high level. So if they like let him skate by, like I said last week, I think he's going to win. He's my winner pick.
Is Peter still your winner pick?
He has not changed. No, I think Peter is an elite player. You guys have not even seen anything yet. This guy is good, man. The fact that he was even thinking along the lines of a 3-2-1, it just shows the level of strategy, you know? And I think he holding the gun in his holster was the good move. I don't think taking the shot was the good move. So we'll see. And then Luke is just kind of a little bit. I think Luke could grow as the season comes along, but he's a little bit doesn't really know what he's doing in the strategic department quite yet.
Yeah, with how close that last vote was with Luke, um, I just feel like Peter. It just in my mind, it just naturally just makes me want to feel like yeah, Peter's playing a better game because if Luke almost went home, then or Luke was the alternative to going home. That's just how I feel.
We haven't had a single advantage played, and there's a lot of advantages out already. And like there's only going to be more as we do these reward challenges. So I'm just waiting for like advantage get in.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, for sure. Can we talk about why Blank lost?
Of course. I would love to do that.
Okay, why did Princess lose?
Inactive is all hell, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I feel like even on the day of tribal, there was nothing. And I know it was their birthday, but like, I was just like, what? You need to do
Yeah.
something.
And they also perceived Princess as like
Yeah.
Leah, like they perceived Princess as like Leah's ally, and they want to like cut Leah off at the legs. So like that didn't really help. And then Lene, what were you gonna say?
Well, I just think that they kind of relied solely on the fact that it was like their birthday.
Yeah,
I'm
not
just
exactly the
like-
smartest. No, definitely not the best move.
Washing dishes on my fucking birthday.
It was funny. It was funny. We're not gonna talk about like but there was a couple of tweets out there. It was an unfortunate scenario, and they haven't been here for war challenges, right?
It's okay.
It is what it is. Princess is great though, very nice person.
Yeah.
but didn't play the best here. Didn't play the best this season, unfortunately.
Why
Yeah.
did Isaiah lose?
Ooh, luck. To be honest.
Yeah, I think they just picked someone and it happened to be Isaiah, and I think they
Yeah.
were scared of his token that he won.
And he didn't use it.
Yeah, what was up with that? I mean, he would have been
Uh.
screwed anyway, but he probably should have used it as a way to like kind of threaten the other
Mhm.
people to vote his way, you know?
I wonder if he didn't think that he could come back with it. So he was like trying to save it, maybe.
He did ask. He asked like pretty early in the day, and we confirmed that he would lose it. So I was surprised he didn't play it. I was like really shocked.
I think I would have. Go big or go home.
Like it would have tied.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens at a tie. I feel like Bear and Jake
Well,
flip, but
It's a revote with just the two people that got votes.
yeah.
it wouldn't even.
I don't
matter,
think
yeah.
Bear and Jake go to rocks for Isaiah.
It wouldn't have mattered, unfortunately, because Isaiah wouldn't have been able to like. He can only use the extra vote once,
Yeah.
you know.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like, he would have been. He was just fucked, and it was bad because I think the fact that he was actually playing a pretty solid game and making connections like that was like kind of the reason he was a threat, because he was like the most normal player out of the three of like. You had Jake who's like didn't really talk. You had Bear who's like mad chaotic, but then people don't take her serious, and then you have Isaiah who's like kind of. He's a little bit more on the quiet side, but he's like playing and making these alliances. So That's probably why.
And then why did Jake lose?
Ooh, Jake. If anyone want to kick that off first.
I think they thought they were all anticipating this merge. They thought he was gonna be very dangerous socially if any merge happened. And I think that honestly, he was just, I don't want to say over strategizing, but Bear was really throwing herself out there, being like, just tell me what you want me to do and I'll just do it. So they were just kind of like, all right, I mean, that works for us. We don't have to like, there's no secret plan going there because Bear, I feel like, plays her heart on her sleeve. So they were like, we can just trust that. Everything will go good.
Yeah, it didn't help that Jake was like, he has like this big persona, but he hasn't really like been until like the last few days hasn't really been that active in terms of the strategy. So he's like a little bit behind with the connections, and he didn't like submit and like be like, yeah, I'll vote Bear, or like I don't know, he just like was trying to get Peter out, and that's just like the same thing as the other day. Like just it wasn't gonna happen. They weren't gonna turn each other at this point. At least not onto Peter. Maybe onto Derek, but not onto Peter.
So
yeah, I felt bad.
we also have Julian and Liv on Edge of Extinction, but or not Liv, Lily.
Really.
Lily with fire token there's 3 different types of tokens. Julian has 1, Lily has 2. And Lily could come back into the game if she wins tonight's reward comp. I don't think she's done it yet though.
No, I don't think so either.
She's gonna have to get a quick ping. And then we also have Gianna. Don't forget Gianna.
Well, Gianna hasn't won any yet. So
Gianna hasn't participated in any yet, unfortunately.
Who of everyone that's gone home so far, who would you want to see come back?
Lily.
I think Lily too. I think Lily would be like just because I haven't seen them play, and I think she seemed like really kind of likable and salt to the earth. That just a cool person. So I think she could like slip through the cracks.
Yeah, I think
I'm not
she
sure
had
her strategy though.
Crappy weekend handed to her, and she was trying to like process her breakup, and she wasn't there. And I think that they kind of just took that and she was the easy vote because she wasn't active. But I think if they would have left her in, that girl would have been a force.
Yeah, she reminds me of Liv from the Blue Tribe. Just like they all sleep, they're all gonna sleep on her. You know what I mean? That's what was gonna happen for sure.
Final question: Who is everyone's winner pick? Who is everyone's winner pick right now?
Can we list like contender? Can we have a contenders list or just one?
Just one.
Okay. I mean, you know mine already, but you guys can go first. I'll throw like one more out there, maybe.
I think I'm gonna go with Jimmy.
Okay, Jimmy.
That's same. Come here, buddy.
I'm still on the Peter bandwagon. I just when I like play out the scenarios in the future, I could just see someone like with the strategic play of Peter and like he doesn't come off too threatening. I could see him getting there. And he's just like a good speaker and stuff, so he could, get the jury votes, so we'll see.
I want it to be this person, so I feel like that's why I'm picking them, but I feel like I could see it. I could definitely see it. Brooke. I think Brooke can get along with anybody at a slot, at a merge. She's someone that you would want to pick up and be like, let's work together. And I think she's going to be given a lot of options. And if she makes the right ones, she could find herself at the end. And then she's just so damn likable. I could see her getting the votes. I
agree with you. I think it's going to be Brooke too.
But if other people pick up on that, then they're in trouble.
Yeah, it's a problem. That's definitely the problem. Do you guys ever watch Survivor David vs. Goliath with Christian Hubicki? He's like one of my favorite players ever. Like she seems like the female version of him. Like he's just they're so intensely lovable and likable. They're like, we cannot let that person sit at the end or we're
If I were playing, Brooke would be like, this bitch needs to go now. Like we're
yeah. Especially she's just such a good speaker. Yeah. So you hear her video confessionals, you guys watch those? Like this girl out here could make it on the real show, to be honest.
Literally, yes. Exactly.
As soon as someone makes me laugh, I'm like, that's dangerous. They gotta go. They can't be funny. That's too charismatic.
That's usually who I want to work with too. It's usually like, hey, if you can convince me that this plan will be chaotic, I'm in. Like that's it. Like, I'm cool with it. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
She seems like she has like the KX side. Go ahead, Ryan.
Who do you think's gonna go home in the triple tomorrow from each tribe?
What do you think, Lene?
I don't know. I think that if they know that it's going to be a big night, I think Ventus, maybe makes a move on Leah.
I think that happens too.
I think probably Bear, but I would love for her to just pull in the numbers and it not be her. And then Ignis is hard. Like I don't
It's tough. I don't think Steve. I think Steve is just too damn good to not see a blind.
I do
If a blindside
too.
comes, I think they're gonna have to tell. I think Brooke will tell James, and I can
Yeah.
see James telling Steve because they have like a really good relationship. And then bang,
Yeah.
like I could see Brooke going home tomorrow. Legit, yeah, I really could see that.
Don't speak that into existence, Styles.
I could see that. I could see that. I could see if like Vince is. It's wild because like either Vince or Brooke, like they both want to make this move, but they don't know that the other wants to make it because they don't trust each other. It's like wild. So if they came together, it'd be hilarious. And what would be really
Yeah.
hilarious is that they blindside Steve and they leave Vince out of it, or vice versa. That'd be hilarious. Like Vince would be like, "Yo, I want him out too, man. What are you doing? Like, well, come on."
Yeah. Maybe Ryan. Ryan seems like the safe boat for them.
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. That's the likely scenario. Like, 'cause he doesn't know what the. I love he's my buddy, and he like begged me to play. I'm a little disappointed by his activity level. I think he like underestimated how much he needed to like actually play. Like, you don't just show up, say, "Hey, what's up, guys? How's your day?" and they trust you. That's just not how it goes.
Like a full-time freaking job.
Basically,
it is. Yeah, with this cast,
basically.
yeah.
Crazy.
Which tribe are you most excited for to see go to tribal tomorrow? Like, who do you think is gonna give the biggest show?
Probably Ventus, I think.
Yeah. Mhm.
Ventus or Ignis. I think they all could be. I think the biggest chance of something crazy happening. It seems like it's Ignis, but I just don't. I don't know. I think Ryan. They'd be like, we should just get rid of Ryan, and that'll be that. But Ventus could be crazy.
Yeah. Cool. I think that's pretty good. We should do one after this triple going into the swap.
We should. We could do a short one.
Yeah.
Like, hey, quick update, guys. This person went home.
Or maybe just like while they're swapped, talk about what we think is going to happen before they go to immunity.
I am
To just
down.
do a
Yo.
live recording.
Yo, I'm down for it. Yo, we could always actually I don't really know whatever time it is going to be at, but like we could always like hop on and like react to the swap and like kind of.
Oh yeah, we could and like give our thoughts. Yeah.
Like, oh snap, Brooks on the Ventus tribe with Kyle because they know each other. By the way,
we should do that for
dynamic.
Sure. We should do that.
But Brooke and Kyle know each other, so that'd be interesting. Like something like that.
Before we go, our franchise owner Brian wants me to, and I quote, "Oh my God, make sure to tell the Northern Lights audience about my banging body." So I definitely did it. There's proof right here. He actually said it. I just want everybody to know.
Oh
So,
yes, that's what I'm talking about. Brian's got to get on one of these. What the hell?
Yeah, we have to get Brian on, but I don't think he.
We'll talk him into it.
He's too busy in Greece right now to be paying attention to what's going on in this game.
Sure, that's true.
I
We're gonna
told
coerce
Kelly
him.
Back now.
Yeah, he's back. Yeah, I thought he was
Mhm.
back.
Fuck.
We're gonna coerce him to get on here.
We
Like,
do.
yo, get him in here. You know what I mean?
I told Callie she was next though. She's literally not shut up about it.
Yeah,
so.
we have Callie next, and
I will
then-
say I think Ryan should be a permanent host as long as
we're gonna
can
just
show
keep
up.
adding like one other person every single time.
I vote for that. If Ryan can be here, I vote for Ryan to always
Okay,
be.
Ryan,
Ryan's
you can be a permanent guest if you want.
Of course, I'm so honored to be a part of the alliance.
And then-
Anytime that Ryan can show
This
his
is how
we're
it
gonna
felt last
have-
week.
We're gonna have everyone on. It's just gonna be everyone on production in every episode.
I have no life, so this is my life. So
There
I
has
love
to be a
being here
reunion
with you
show.
guys.
Oh, we will for we should definitely do a reunion where we like bring everyone on and ask questions.
Yo, 100% exit. We should have exit interviews one day.
We should do. Why don't we? I guess when like Edge ends, we can do exit interviews.
Definitely could do
Yeah.
that, yo. I'm down with that, yo. We could have everyone just
Yeah.
pop in there. We could have like
Okay.
an open forum, like for all the people
Yeah.
eliminated. We could invite all of them, and they could all like discuss what it was going on together.
Yeah,
That'd be
that sounds perfect.
yeah.
Cool. Well, I'm gonna stop this recording, but we'll hop on in a couple days for swap shit.
Absolutely,
Thanks
yeah. I'm
for
down.
watching,
Okay.
friends.
Yeah, I think whoever's watching, what are we an hour in about? Like, hey, shit, I appreciate it.